name's Vince Maple and I've got the honour of being councillor for where you are standing right now. So welcome to Chatham Central, and also proud to be the leader of the Labour group, the official opposition to the terrible Tories we have running Medway Council. And we saw a prime example of that just this Thursday. I don't normally quote from the Daily Mail, but I will for just a few seconds. Yesterday, Medway Council was in the Daily Mail. Why were they in there? Because they're charging toddlers to walk around a field in Rainham. I mean, this is the desperation we find our Conservative council now reaching. People wanting to do good things, helping the community, raising funds for charity. Some might call that the big society. But this council are absolutely regressive, quite frankly at times depressing council here in Medway. So that's what we're up against. And days like today show that we've got that solidarity in the community. We've got people standing up wanting to make a difference. And that's why we're here today. Across the country, people will be coming together on May Day to send a very clear message. May Day is International Workers' Day. And what we've seen over the last 12 months from the government is some of the most draconian attacks we have seen on our trade union movement ever. The fact of the utter hypocrisy, saying that on the one hand, you must still continue to have postal balloting, probably to try and help their share prices go up a bit. But it's okay for their internal elections to use electronic balloting. You know, hypocrisy from the Tories. They talk about ballot outcomes, ballot turnouts, ballot levels. Well, let's have a look on Thursday. Let's have a look at their fantastic democratic disgrace, which is the Police and Crime Commissioner elections. We want to see money pumped into the front line of policing. We don't want to see money wasted on democratic processes, which last time round 85% of people in Kent rejected, and so we don't want to see that. So we see hypocrisy from the Tories, and it is quite frankly a disgrace when we see our Tory MPs here in Kent voting for these draconian attacks on our trade unions. So we must stand united. We must stand loud and clear. And I pay tribute to the Medway Trades Council for being absolute advocates for the trade union movement here in Medway, and the fact that they've come together and put this on at such short notice. So congratulations to the whole team who have made such an effort. I know this will build year on year. Now, I've got the absolute privilege, as well as being leader of the Labour group on the council, I have a message of support which I don't normally read. I normally freestyle, but I will read from a bit of paper, if I may. I have a message from Jeremy Corbyn, leader of the Labour Party. So I will finish with his words, because his words are frankly better than mine. Dear friends, I'm very pleased to be able to send this message of support and solidarity as leader of the Labour Party. It is great to see an area such as Medway holding its first May Day rally for 30 years, and it is understandable why it's taking place now. Many people in Medway, like so many others across the country, will have absolute solidarity and sympathy with the steel industry, which is currently being let down by the Tory government. Medway, of course, lost its own large employer, the Naval Dockyard, in the mid-80s, again under a Tory government, and is still suffering the consequences. And despite all of this, Medway remains an outward-looking community, showing compassion to those fleeing deadly conflicts, which is why we have seen the brilliant Medway City of Sanctuary created. Medway values its NHS and has seen its hospitals starved of the resources it needs to move forward and improve. This is why the junior doctors were forced to take industrial action this week, to show the government that patient safety must come first. We must protect the right of anybody to have access to the NHS. Healthcare that is free at the point of use. The NHS is Labour's proudest creation, and we must do everything we can to protect it. All of this is part of the Tories' brutal destruction of our valued public services under the auspices of austerity, children's centres, social care for the elderly, provision for disabled people have all been cut. And all the while, the super rich get tax cuts or are allowed to hide their money away in tax havens. We must be under no illusion. Austerity is a political choice and not an economic necessity. As leader of the Labour Party, I will stand up and not stand by in the face of injustices in this country and across the globe. There is a better way of doing things, but we can only get there if people stand together for a more equal, fair and just world, locally, nationally and internationally. I wish you every success for your May Day event, and I hope that you don't leave it till 2046 for the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Corbyn, the next Prime Minister. So friends, thank you again for being here this afternoon. It is important for us to show solidarity for these types of events. You know, we've got to come together, we've got to make sure our message is heard loud and clear. You're going to hear from some more outstanding speakers who will speak of some of those struggles we've got going on right here in Medway. So enjoy the Bank Holiday Monday. We only have May Day Bank Holiday Monday because of the trade union movement, and long may that continue. Solidarity.
The Tory government is attacking the trade union movement in many ways. At a time when a number of working days lost through strike action are at record lows, this Tory government has seen fit to launch an ideological attack on working people and their right to organise. This attack is outdated, but when required, we will fight their cause. My union experience shows that provisions in this trade union bill, which the Tories are trying to push through, are an example of unnecessary regulatory red tape that will offer no discernible benefit to anyone other than the Tory party or unscrupulous employers, whilst damaging the productivity of not only trade unions but also of private enterprise. Due to the pressure and effective campaigning from the trade union movement, with the help of the Labour and sympathetic, knowledgeable peers in the House of Lords, it's forced this vindictive Tory government to rescind many of the proposed changes in the bill. There has been many amendments from the original. I fully support the action of the junior doctors in their fight against the new contracts that Jeremy Hunt has imposed on them. It is nothing to do with pay, it is completely based on forcing upon them unacceptable changes to their contracts of employment and their contractual hours. Last week I was at the USDOR annual delegates meeting in the Winter Gardens, Blackpool, the very place that Nye Bevin introduced the National Health Bill and proposals. What the Tories are doing with our National Health Service would cause him to turn in his grave. The leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, came on the Sunday afternoon of our conference and gave a great speech. Unity in our party is the only way forward to achieve a Labour victory in 2020. Whilst we were at conference, the news broke about BHS, another disaster for retail. BHS going into administration, our General Secretary reported that USDOR officials were in contact with the management and the directors of BHS to arrange meetings to discuss and protect the USDOR members employed by BHS. This fight has begun to try to get an acceptable outcome. USDOR is on the case and to get a satisfactory result to save our members' jobs, but mainly to investigate why their pension pot has disappeared. It's unbelievable in this day and age that that companies can use monies from the pension fund to actually promote and cost other things. It is ridiculous. These people may well lose their job. We don't know how many jobs we're going to lose. We had the same issue with Woolworths and Ethel Austin. We've took that to the European Court to try and save as much as we can. We will be prepared to do that again because we need to save these jobs and save the company. our dear friend Mr. Philip Green, he left, they sold it for £1. How much more money did he take other than the £1? Maybe that's something to do with the pension pot. But to the shame of George Osborne's new national minimum wage for over 25-year-olds. The TUC are saying it is wrong to leave the 21 to 24-year-olds out. They face the same expenses as other adults and are highly productive. Not paying them the full minimum wage will demotivate younger adults who will get less pay than their colleagues for the same work. How unfair is that? We need equality. People there should not be disadvantaged because of their age. These guys are married, they've got children, and yet they're going to get 50 pence an hour less because someone's 25 and above. Where is the fairness and equality in that? I just cannot fathom it out. The sooner we get a Labour government, when we can get equality and fairness, the better. We now have over 440,000 members. We are the 4th largest union in this country. But to put it in perspective, because of the nature of retail, we lose round about 70,000 members a year, so we have to recruit a lot more. And we do that year on year. The last year we improved by 10,000. And considering the attacks that the retail and the distribution industry has last year, that is an exceptional performance. Trade unions are not dead. The will to grow and succeed is very much still there. I thank you for allowing me to talk. We need unity in the Labour movement to win in 2020 and to rid us of this pernicious Tory government. Good trade unionism is still there. Keep the red flag flying high.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank everybody for coming today, and I'd like to thank the Trades Council for putting on this event. May Day has always been a celebration. In years gone by, it's been a celebration of the end of winter and the start of spring, and looking forward to a period of renewal. It's also been a celebration of the victories of working people. This holiday that we would not have if it wasn't for the organised trade union movement. The single greatest victory of our trade union movement so far has been the NHS. The idea of healthcare for everybody, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what's wrong with you, was a revolutionary idea. The idea that everybody would give according to their ability and take according to their needs has revolutionised healthcare around the world. And it's an idea that has been fundamentally at odds with the Conservative Party throughout the decades. It is an idea that threatens free market economics and the very existence of capitalism. It wasn't a gift that was handed down to us from a benevolent Labour government, though. It was a prize. It was a prize that was won by working people who fought tooth and nail in order to have it. And we have had successive governments, both Tory and New Labour, that have sought to undermine the very existence of the NHS, that have tried to break it up in order to privatise it. And what we are seeing now with the brave junior doctors' struggle that is taking place within the NHS, it's no wonder that 70% of the public support them, because 70% of the public recognise that this government is hell-bent on privatising the health service. And it is in this context that we have seen other NHS staff, nurses, porters, physiotherapists, ward clerks, see the real value of their salary plummet by 14% since 2010. We have 20,000 nursing vacancies in NHS England alone, and what we're seeing is a conscious and concerted strategy by the Tory government to break up and privatise the health service. This government can't believe its luck. They cannot believe that they were re-elected this time last year, and they came in with a scorched earth policy, going hell for leather together for all of the victories that working people have ever been able to achieve, but it is a weak government and it is an unpopular government. And we know from the concessions that we've already been able to win in the trade union bill that it is a government that is on the back foot. Coordinated strike action would force this government into the dustbin of history where it belongs. We can't wait until 2020 for Jeremy Corbyn. My patients can't wait. The school students who are having their schools forced to become academies can't wait. The refugees fleeing war and persecution can't wait. Comrades, brothers, sisters, today we stand here together. We're going to march together. But if we want to get rid of this hated Tory government and push back against their austerity policies, then we are going to have to strike together. Thank you.